Hello, my name is Adam Abraham, author of I Am My Body Not, and today we're going to be speaking with another author, a passionate gentleman by the name of Mark Serkis, Dr. Mark Serkis, who is the author of Transdermal Magnesium Therapy from Philos Books. Mark, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Good morning.
Mark, you've put together what we feel is a powerful book called Transdermal Magnesium Therapy. First of all, let's just start off with how did you come to write this book?
Well, actually it started just over a year ago. I found I was tracing with my research assistant, Claudia French, who were looking around the world actually for information and product source for magnesium. We heard almost like a rumor that there was a transdermal magnesium product on the market, and but it was not easy to find. Mm-hmm. And I called this guy named Dan Reed, who's the author of Tao of Detox, who lived in Australia. Mm-hmm. And I called him, I talked to him, and he just made a blanket statement to me. He said, "This is the best detox method I know about." And it's hard to actually recapture the moment from a year ago, but I basically started writing like in a fit of inspiration, and I was actually in front of my International Medical Veritas audience. I publish every week, and I started publishing my writings week by week, and it just became an explosive thing. It was the first thing I ever used in my life where I actually could feel a difference. In 1-2 days of using it, I could feel my athletic performance improving. I could feel it. I could actually feel it.
Right.
So I pursued it like a hound dog. It's been a very exciting year because of it.
Well, you say you felt the difference yourself. What were some of the things that, or key points that showed you that magnesium was as important as it was? I mean, it certainly seems to have been overlooked. We're not hearing anyone talk about magnesium in the general medical or health field. They're not talking that much about it. So, did you just have this sense, or was this part of the research that you did?
Well, the people who know a lot about magnesium, it's very clear to the scientists and the doctors who are using it and know about it. And the message is very clear that it's the most important mineral to man and to all living organisms. Mm-hmm. I wrote one little poem about magnesium, basically saying that despite the fact that magnesium is almost as important for life as the air we breathe, it became very clear very quickly that magnesium is such an essential nutrient, such an essential mineral to cell physiology. It's involved in so many processes of the cell, 325 enzyme processes, cell wall integrity, the integrity of the blood-brain barrier, energy production through ATP. I mean, it's like after air, after water, after basic food, nutrition, in the middle of the nutritional area, it's just the principal nutrient. But what collided on me is I found out also in the very beginning that it's one of the most potent medicines that the allopaths have. If you end up in a very good hospital with a heart attack, one of the first things in the emergency room they reach for is they'll inject magnesium. They use either magnesium sulfate or magnesium chloride, and your chance of surviving a heart attack immediately jumps considerably if you pump magnesium into the blood. So it's a very unique agent. It's legally, when it's injected, a medicine.
Okay.
A very potent medicine that is very useful for heart attacks or strokes. If you pump it in when you're early enough after a stroke, It'll diminish all the downside in the future, the debility from the stroke. And on the other side, it's a freely available nutrient. Now, the big difference, this transdermal that we're going to be talking about, that I talk about a lot in the book, there are basically there's four ways of getting magnesium to the body. One is through eating, which is a huge problem today, and this is what people have to really understand, which the doctors and the health authorities are hiding from the public, is that over the last 100 years, but most of the last 5 decades, the nutritional value of foods has been declining. I mean, declining significantly. So when you eat an orange today, instead of maybe, I don't know the exact numbers, instead of 100 milligrams of vitamin C, there's only 50. It's half. The same with all the nutrients, with magnesium and minerals in general being one of the most principal ones because of the declining quality of the soil.
Right.
So today, there's an epidemic of obesity in the world, but obese people are actually malnourished.
Malnourished, exactly.
You can eat and eat and eat, and like with magnesium, eating junk food, one of the characteristics of junk food, like white rice or white bread, is the magnesium is taken out. So basically, the whole population, officially 68% of the Americans are magnesium deficient, but that's based on the RDA. It's calculated on an average of about almost 400 milligrams of magnesium that is they calculate is needed. But today, everybody is living in an era where we're absorbing toxins from just about every particular source imaginable. We're being poisoned through whether the preservatives in our food, pollution in the air, the water with the fluoride toothpaste, I mean, on and on and on. And all of these toxins that we take into the body have to be eliminated, and we need magnesium to do that also. Mm-hmm. So our needs for magnesium have gone up decade by decade, and the amount we've been eating is going down. So almost everybody is starving, literally starving for magnesium.
Mm-hmm. It would seem to me, too, that people are eating more but being nourished less, and they're drinking more but hydrated less, and it seems to be a similar type of dynamic going on there, and possibly for the same reasons.
Yeah. So normally we would say you could supplement or increase your magnesium by eating the right foods. And this is true to a point, but it's really only to a point. You could almost imagine a perfect diet of organic foods, and it would still be difficult to get enough magnesium that way. But from a medical point of view, if you're already deficient, it's almost impossible to eat your way out of a magnesium deficiency. You need a medical treatment. You need to supplement magnesium. So there are 3 ways of doing that. You can take orally, you can take either liquid form or pills, you can inject it or through intravenous, or you can just put it on the skin. You can transdermal. People who know Epsom salt baths know of this. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, and you can pour it in your bath, and you take a bath with it. But there's a problem with different forms of taking magnesium. The magnesium sulfate, with this Epsom salt bath, is very nice and very relaxing, but the magnesium is not well absorbed and not well retained. So it doesn't translate into a good medical treatment. Oral, people who take magnesium pills, it's a very tricky situation. The doctors, the researchers who are real experts in this field, know that, again, if you're deficient in magnesium, even under the best circumstances, taking pills, magnesium pills, take you maybe, if you're lucky, a year to bring back your magnesium levels up, because getting it into the cells is not an easy thing. So oral, and the problems with taking pills and taking enough of them is it provokes diarrhea. Many people can't absorb it very well through the intestines. So again, taking orally is not a very dependable thing. Some doctors who understand that their patients really need magnesium, need it quickly, they'll do intravenous, which is very helpful, though it's very expensive. You have to keep going back to the doctor, and it's uncomfortable. Magnesium injections are not particularly comfortable. So here we were. We stumbled on this. Well, what we actually stumbled on was something brand new. It was from Globalite Network. They had, until that point, it's only been a few years, is the original people who were experimenting and marketing this, they were using, there's two kinds of magnesium, transdermal magnesium. There's what is available around the world is pharmaceutically manufactured crystals or powder that you buy and then you mix with water. And traditionally people, they mix it in a very diluted form, and then they put it in the refrigerator and they drink a little bit in the morning at night.
Oh, okay.
And then somebody came around and concentrated it and started putting it on the skin. What Globalite found was a natural source, which is, it's amazing. When salt water is evaporated to make salt, on top of the salt it forms what they brine. So what Globalite discovered was a natural source of this magnesium chloride, which is created with saltwater evaporation. When they make the salt, and the salt collects at the bottom, on top of the salt collects as liquid. And they concentrate it until 35% magnesium chloride. And it's a totally natural product. It's not processed at all, not heated. It's just filtered. And there's a big difference, actually, between this natural magnesium chloride and the stuff that's manufactured by hydrochloric acid, which is the pharmaceutical grade. The big difference is it's about 25 times cleaner, meaning 25 times less heavy metals. And in one profile of one product, I saw 50 times more lead in a manufactured magnesium chloride than this natural. The second thing is when you put it on the skin, you can see all the difference in the world. It's just a very pleasant product. It's something that has to be experienced. But I've been using it religiously for about 10 months now, and I can't imagine being without it, actually.
So you mentioned that in certain critical medical situations like heart attack and strokes, that hospitals, or some of the best hospitals anyway, are routinely administering magnesium. Mm-hmm. And it would seem to me that this would indicate that that person who came in needed magnesium, was magnesium deficient. If a radical injection and the radical infusion of magnesium actually helped their situation. It's curious almost why the medical industry hasn't stepped back to somehow help people understand that more, to the extent that they would be getting more magnesium to not be in that critically deficient state.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a big problem, actually, for the pharmaceutical companies and the whole medical industry. Magnesium is so important and so useful as a medicine that it would literally replace, as far as my perspective, billions and billions of dollars of pharmaceuticals and reduce the need for billions and billions of dollars of medical treatment. If the government and doctors were to promote magnesium, like they would fluoride in the water, and put the magnesium in the water instead of fluoride, the difference in the health of the public would be astronomical. So instead of having a $1.5 trillion health industry, it would drop considerably. And it just seems that the industrial complex is just not interested in health. And if there's no money to be made out of it, where would be the interest? And magnesium is not something you can patent.
That's true. It can't be replaced either in terms of what it does for the body. So as people are, through word of mouth, through testimonials, people are starting to see that, and they're starting to get this idea that magnesium is important. That is one of the things they're learning in transdermal magnesium therapy.